T.H.A. Here I am, wildin' out, Taliban. I came up from the underground. You are, I got the crown. You don't wanna mess with us. All we making is test moves. So what you wanna do? Gotta get it lifestyle, go get it. Fuck your top 50 if I ain't in it. Turn nothing to the sun, baby, I'm the shit. I'm never limited, dose of me is limitless. Gotta get it lifestyle. This is my time now.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Getting Close Up, the show focused on independent artists and creatives. I'm your host, Danielle Cox. The artist that I have with me today is up and coming, but determined to inject a dose of himself everywhere he goes. Today, we are getting close up with Dose of T.H.A.
Woo, yeah. Clap it up. Thank you.
To the audience that we don't have.
I got out there, I was like, oh, there go my boy right there. Hey. Casey.
Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. It's been a long time coming, but we're here.
Yes, ma'am, it is. And thank you so much for having me on here.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. It's funny because I say everywhere you go because I've run into you in multiple places and in multiple ways. So I've seen you performing.
Yeah.
I've seen you at open mics. But then I also actually ran into you on the set of a movie.
Yeah.
So, like, you're doing acting, too.
Yeah.
And rapping, like... So, which one came first?
Rapping. Rapping definitely came first. But I guess you could say acting... Now that I think about acting was kind of, like, in my background when it came to, like, going to high school, middle school and stuff. Because I went to a performing arts school. I went to Paseo. So,
you had so many Paseo people in that chair. You would not believe it.
I bet.
So many.
Yeah, I ended up, I had to, you know how you had to audition first. So I did a little acting stuff, but, you know, I wasn't really into acting like that. And I had stage fright like that back then, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did not like being around, like, big crowds and stuff like that. I used to like to be just chilling.
So how'd you end up at a performing arts school?
I had friends up there, and
got you.
And I figured it's that district, so kind of make it easy on me and try it out.
Yeah.
I ended up being in technical theater, so I got to work behind the scenes, building the stages, doing the lighting, and you know, even doing the board work and everything like that behind the scenes and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. It was pretty interesting for a little bit, and I still did a little acting here and there. I didn't really get into acting, honestly, until, like, when I was older and ran into my boy Jackie Terry on the podcast, and he got me in acting roles, so that's kind of how I got into acting.
That's pretty cool. So you're just, like, moving throughout. It's funny how, like, there's a lot of rappers who are also actors. I wonder what that connection is.
Man.
If it's just a performance connection, or what is it?
To me, I feel like it's just more of a performance connection. And like how I wanted to get into acting at first, I just wanted to have placement music and everything like that for movies and stuff. So, you know, I started monetizing a lot of my music around that time. So when I ran into Jackie and asked if I could put some of my music in his films, he listened to one of my songs and he literally put a short film together based off of one of my songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it came, how I kind of really got into, like, you know, got my foot into acting and stuff.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, because, I mean, that's to have somebody, like, go through and, like, get inspired and create something around a piece. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. So let's talk about your creative process and your music in general. Because, yeah, you are a rapper, and I think a lot of people take for granted all the different elements that have to go into that. Outside of the writing itself, you also have to consider your performance style. You have to consider stamina. You have to consider other skills that you work on. So talk to me a little bit about how the process of developing that for yourself. Like, what is it that you work on when you are thinking about your performance and your stamina and your style?
Like when I was performing first, I always just thought about practicing. Like I didn't even think about stamina and stuff until I started doing longer performances.
And you almost probably died on that stage, huh?
Not even that. Just that that's when I learned how to kind of catch my breath right then and there.
Yeah.
And I was rapping behind a lot of my music anyway before I started doing show tracks. So that kind of helped me out too. So it's like when I realized like they're getting tired, like, yeah. Yeah. Here come the hook, y'all. Let's go. That time right there, like, 'cause you don't get a lot of time when it comes to catching your breath. So once I started noticed that early in my career, and I started really practicing that, that's when I started practicing my performance tracks more, because the more you do performance tracks, I feel like the more people could actually feel you, especially someone that ain't never heard you before.
Yeah.
And someone that wasn't even planning to listen to you. They coming out there to support someone else, but you just so happen to open up for that performer. So you want to make sure you make a good first impression. When they can hear what you got to say, you know, it builds your fan base, you know? It builds your audience up as well. So it's like you're not taking anybody's audience. You know, a listener listens to a little bit of everything. Just because they listen to this person does not mean they can't listen to you too, you know?
Right. and that's a very important point that you bring up. Like, your set is you have to perform to the entire room, no matter what. No matter what. Even if, you know, it's the same mindset you'd have if you were opening for somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, those people didn't really buy a ticket to come see you, except for maybe like your family and friends and stuff.
Right.
But you have to try to get that audience, or try to turn people into fans for you. And that it takes a lot of work and a lot of thought to do that. Now, when it comes to your writing, what are some of a lot of your topics, some of them cover like relationships and things like that. How do you source your material for the things that you rap about?
Honestly, it's more just depending on like how I feel. Like this next project I want to drop, I wanted something to cater more to women, and I wanted a different sound too, because I usually do a lot of club joints and, you know, some hard beats here and there. I wanted to switch it up a little bit more of a popish sound, but you still have that hip hop, you still have a little bit of that trap in there, here and there, and stuff like that. It still got that bounce in there, you know. So that's kind of what I've been working on more. So my writing process lately just been like, you know, catering like some of my life experiences with women in general, and, you know, it's not all negative, you know. It's a lot of positive.
I was gonna say, it's like, has anybody ever came back to you and said, excuse me,
no,
is this song about me?
No, I actually haven't, honestly. I have more people where it's just like, I like this song, honestly. Like, whether I might be talking about them or not, you know, they understand, as in, like, I'm not saying nothing bad about them, because a lot of my relationships, I end up on good notes, you know, so.
That's good.
It's not really no issue, so I'm not really saying anything too bad. Where they might get a chuckle, like, oh yeah, I did do that. Yeah, I did.
No, that actually happened.
Yeah.
No, he's telling the truth on that. Right. I mean, I imagine some people would probably, or some women would probably be like, oh, you're an artist, you're a performer. I don't want to, because then you might write something about me. Like, you know, something might come out and then everybody would know it's about them. You know, so I could see how that could happen.
I'm pretty good with my subliminal game, though. So yeah, most of the time they really don't know that I'm talking about them, and, you know, so that's also a plus too.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's part of the being a wordsmith that it takes to be a rapper. What song would you say there's a song that you have that's like the most personal to you?
Oh, there's a couple I have. I think Mama I'm Sorry is one of them, definitely. That's one of my favorite ones. Like, before I even thought about dropping that song, like, I made sure I played that to my mom first to make sure she likes it.
She knows that was about her.
And, you know, she really liked it, and I made sure I kept it clean, and then she had a couple questions, and that's probably one of my personal songs, one of my favorite personal songs. I want to say Toxic Anthem is definitely one of them. Just, you know, back and forth in your relationship, and during me writing that song, actually, I'm in the middle of an argument when that happened.
When it happened? Oh my God.
Like, I was just playing the beat the whole time. I kept that on repeat while she just, what are you talking about? Are you talking about me? It's just like, yeah, but you ain't gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it at the same time the whole world does. So, you know, relax. Just relax. And yeah, that was a pretty good song, actually. I mean, you was there when I performed it, actually.
Yeah, I was,
Yeah, and you see that type of stage time, that type of stage presence, too. That was like a 10-minute set, and, you know, I don't know if you've seen it, but, like, you know, just me controlling my breath and all that stuff. And if I didn't have the time, like I said, I didn't have too many show tracks like that. I'm still putting show tracks together more often now, but it was pretty cool, though, just having a stage set like that, because I haven't done a show that long in a minute.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about stamina and working on your stage presence, because you got to keep an audience engaged for a long time. Like somebody who's already famous, it's like, okay, they bought the ticket because they liked your album, they like the music. But like when
they're gonna sing it with them.
They're gonna sing it with them, But when you're going out there to an audience who may not be familiar with you, you know what I'm saying? You have to do a whole lot more. And you mentioned that you had stage fright. Do you still struggle with going out and like having to perform in front of people that have never heard your music, and you might have to try to move over as a fan? You still struggle with that?
To be honest with you, no. Because honestly, I feel like I noticed it last year, going to those places you don't feel comfortable with all the time. It don't have to be like, oh, I'm in a bad neighborhood. No, I just don't know a lot of these people, and a lot of people are kind of like, yeah, this is what I do. And it's like, you don't go in there and just come in there and be like, hey, I'm a rapper. And it's just like, okay, I'm a rapper too, so what's the difference?
Right, and you're in a room full of other performers.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to impress somebody. It don't matter what type of jewelry you got on and stuff like that. Some people don't even want to know about your personality because they already in their own mind frame. Like, I got to do my thing right now. Forget what you is right now. There's places I've been to like that, and eventually I just get comfortable. So I went in the jungle and I came out with a nice little, I came out with some new furs.
Like, so I went into the jungle and came out with some new furs. Wow.
So. Like that's probably the only time when it's like you get to know some people, because sometimes that first impression, it was a cool first impression, but it's like, okay, what you got now? Yeah. And that's kind of how I felt when I started going to a lot of link events, shout out to Street King on that one, putting me on with a lot of link events, because that got me familiar with more artists on the scene, and also got me in the room with DJs and A&R peoples and stuff like that, so I could try to figure out like, how can I get me some radio play, because I feel like I have a great presentation when it comes to what I'm about to display for my product, which is the music. I feel like I got radio songs where it's radio friendly, so now to me it's just more about the song, what's the right song to send to them. Because I don't know what type of mood they're in. I don't know how they feel.
Right, you don't know exactly what it is.
Don't listen to it anytime soon,
But what have you learned about that from talking to AR people about, getting your music on the radio? Do you feel it's important to still get on the radio?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because me, when I think about it on the business side, and when I think about it on the royalties end too, like I get radio play right now and stuff, which is really cool. And I'm really thankful of that from other local stations and stuff. But maybe it's me personally, but it doesn't sound better than me hearing myself on the radio station that I've been listening to as a kid. Yeah. And imagine just getting that continued rotation and stuff like that. That's what helps you get familiar in the city, and that's what helps build artists in your city as well. Because we only got like a handful of artists that's getting played like actually on the radio and stuff, and that's more about who you know than what you know right now to me.
Yeah, especially when you're a hip-hop artist.
Yeah.
Because there's not really anything that's tailored to that.
Right.
So how difficult has it been to find opportunities to perform?
That's not hard, honestly, for me. That's just more of it's more like taking your small victories that's going to help you build to bigger victories. So it's like, while I wasn't getting that radio play like I wanted from certain places, I was still getting played elsewhere, and I noticed it. And honestly, I noticed it in my royalties, honestly. I've been seeing those radio stations where it's playing me, and it's like, dang, they've been playing. I was wondering where they've been playing this from, because they're playing stuff from my catalog. They're not even playing the newest stuff. They did, stuck on that specific music in their area and stuff, where that makes me want to know, like, oh, I need to get in touch with these people. Like, hey, did you know I also do this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was actually doing that this morning before I came out here, honestly.
Okay.
I'm going through my emails, and I was just looking up stuff, and I was just like, okay, they playing me down here. And I was just like, who do I know down here? I go through my Instagram. I was like, oh, he do run this. He do this and do that. Like, let me tap back in with them and stuff,
Yeah, you got to definitely find opportunities to follow up on opportunities, because otherwise you can miss a whole lot.
You can miss your opportunity.
And I think one thing that I noticed when you sent us your press kit, first of all, you had a press kit. Not a lot of people do.
I know, right?
Right. So I wanted to talk to you about developing that. So how did you figure out that you needed to do that? And did you put all that together yourself?
Yeah, it was a team effort, definitely. Like, I have a person on my team that does a lot of the digital editing does a lot of my cover art, did my newest album cover for my album when I drop it. And I made sure I just sent him what I want in there, how I want to be presented, send him my photos and everything like that. And I did a couple of edits because it was just like, hold on, man, we got to edit something now. You can put on there Kansas City People's Choice Awards, semi-finalist on there. You know, we can put that in the resume now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there was some things like that I switched up, but I feel like it came out pretty accurate for someone that just wanted to know an artist and has a minute to look at what I've done, what I bring to the table, who have I performed for, whether it's people locally or people that's mainstream, and then you get a chance to hear my music afterwards. So where it'd be like, and you see the music I sent, it's a little bit of everything, including stuff that's gonna be on my next album. So you get a little bit of me where, hey, I might be rapping about this, I might be harmonizing about this, or I might be talking about this. Where it'd be like, oh, I can relate to that. I just send a little bit of everything, a good dose of me, you know.
And then you right, and then you had social media metrics in there. How do you feel about how important those social media metrics are to like venues or even other podcasts that, you have to have a certain following before they let you on?
Because I feel like that's something that businesses want to know. It's like, okay, you got some good music and all, but what else do you bring to the table? So it's like when you want to have like a brand ambassador, like, for example, labeling jewelry, shout out labeling jewelry. I had a cool partnership deal with them and stuff, just supporting and promoting their jewelry. And with that it did thousands of views on YouTube actually, and I'm sure that brought up their sales a little bit here and there too from, this side of the country. Because this is a country this company is based out of their country, like out in Japan.
Oh, okay. And, so how did you connect with that?
They saw my content one day and they liked a couple of songs. It was someone that worked for the company building up and was just saying like, hey, I like what you be doing. Is there a way you can promote some of our stuff? And I was like, yeah, what you got? And they just started mailing me stuff. They started mailing me like jewelry, Cuban links, this watch right here that I finally just started wearing. Wish I would have worn this a little bit earlier, but I was promoting a lot more of their other jewelry though back then, and I'm showing a lot more of that now. Just make sure you put in that code for me. So yeah.
No, I think that's fascinating though, because like having somebody reach out to you and then like for a brand deal, like a lot of times people get stuff like that in their DMs in their inbox and they're like, is that a scam?
I ain't gonna lie. One thing that's good. This is before ChatGPT, but one thing I did was I looked it up. One thing to learn if it's a scam or not is checking out their website. You go to their website right now, you're gonna see a picture of me up there with the Cuban links on, just smiling and enjoying, the fact that they trusted in me in promoting their brand.
No, for real.
And this was just the first of many, so I was happy about that. Still got a couple of brands I'm working on, but knowing when they see your views and your presence and stuff, that helps a lot too, especially when you're doing your own event. Like I got to do one of my own events. I try to do my own event once a year, but I'm trying to work on doing it more quarterly because it's not easy.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not. That's a lot of work.
So when you do it though, you feel so good that you completed something yourself, whether you had 5 people out there or you had 30, 40 people out there, Well,
I definitely want to ask you more about putting an event together, but going back to the social media stuff. So is there a certain strategy that you have when it comes to putting out your social media content? Is it just make sure you do a lot, or is it very intentional?
Honestly, post as much as you can. Especially when it comes to like reels or shorts and stuff like that. I try to post as much as I can when I have the time, because sometimes I'll be stuck with, handling business, so you got to get your paper up because, being a rapper isn't cheap.
No, it's not. And you still have to live. You probably still have a 9 to 5. There's a lot you got to do.
Got a couple of gigs, a couple of side hustles, and I got a family to take care of too.
So how do you find time to set that up and organize it?
Just make it. Gotta make that time. Those days when you're off and you just want to lay around, not do nothing, take that time to just go through your emails like I did today. Finally, you know.
Yeah, those emails will get away from you if you're not careful.
You gotta make sure you send out those press kits, man. You gotta keep on doing that. You gotta make sure your ears in the streets too in your area. I meant to hit up my peoples yesterday, just like, where y'all watching the fights at? What's going on? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would have just pulled up, came over with a bottle just to hang out with some of my peers, you know. And it's just good to just find that time. Like, I work 2 gigs, so when I'm not working at my second gig, that gives me time to either spend time with my family, and when I'm done with that, you know what I'm saying, I can get out to check out open mic, see what's going on out in the night scene, and work on some of my editing and stuff, like how I post my Throwback Show Day stuff and everything like that.
Yeah, so it's a lot that you have to keep up with when you're doing it all yourself.
Yeah.
When you have to be your own business and your own promoter and your own, there's a whole lot that you have to deal with on top of the fact of taking care of home and being a dad and living life.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It can be a lot. But I think that's one of the reasons why we talk about that on this show, is so people that can understand, they may have just seen you perform, but also there's a lot of things behind that. It takes a lot to be that end product.
Yeah. That's definitely how I feel about it too, because like I said, first impression means a lot. So like when I'm out and doing that stuff, like when I'm taking that time away from, like, if I spend time here and stuff like that, it'll make me a better opportunity to make it better for everybody, Like going out to Topeka was a really good thing for me, because like when I don't feel like I'm getting the energy where I'm supposed to be getting that, I start going elsewhere to see where I can find that energy. See,
okay.
Like you ain't gotta drive out to LA or anything like that, but you just want to drive a little bit outside of where you've been performing and stuff. And like I said, I'm going to these new places where I don't feel comfortable, so it's just like I'll mix that in, balance it out with places where I do feel welcome at. And when there was people at the Mecca that you see me perform, those people put me on with people out in Topeka, you know what I'm saying? So shout out Sound Peak, After Dark podcast. They put me on with their events that they do every Monday on their show. And I went out there, just kept on doing my thing out there every week or so, and started getting my own book shows out there. And then I booked my own event out there as well.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's a great opportunity. And it also speaks to how you have to continue to put yourself out there.
And I brought that energy back to Kansas City. So I felt more confident in what I was doing. And I feel like that kind of helped me get to that, that semifinals and everything.
Yeah.
Just people talking about me and mentioning me with everybody else. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's a pretty cool achievement. And that's another part of marketing yourself. Like, entering into these different award shows and things like that, like when you were doing that, how did you first of all, how did you decide that that's something you even wanted to participate in? Because you kind of have to elect yourself initially, and then people vote for you, right?
Right. And like with that, I was just in my campaign mode. I was in my campaign bag. Like I just said to myself, from like those link events all the way to when you get to the nominees, I just said I was going to just do some things that's going to help me get recognized. And it's like, I'm working on a documentary about that too, kind of my road where
Oh, really?
Yeah, where I personally feel this is what helped me got to that semifinal. So like going to the link events, meeting these A&Rs, exec, and all these rappers that's known in the city, that's the first step. I feel like the second step definitely, or one of my steps, was being in the booth with DJ Rocky Montana,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, shout out Rocky Montana on that, because I got to do one of my singles out there, and that got a lot of buzz and a lot of good views, positive, negative. It was all good, to me, publicity in general, And
you do collaborate with a lot of other artists. So talk to me about how you find people to work with.
I'm a fan of their music, and, if I see them out and about, we in the same spots, eventually it makes sense to collab with them and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially if the price is right, because, everybody want to charge and stuff, and I don't mind paying for certain features and stuff, but if you ain't got more Spotify listeners than me, then let's make it make sense, And then on top of that, like, we're in Kansas City. We're all got the same goal and stuff like that, so I can understand if you want to charge, but just make it make sense. Like, someone that's trying to charge me, like, let's just say it was like I'm charging $500 for a feature, and this is like, hold up, like what for what exactly? What all comes with that? Because some people they'll charge for the feature and that's it.
That's it. You'll never see them again.
Not even that, but you're not even gonna get a repost or retweet or whatever. you're not gonna have him promoted on his end and stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's still your song. So that's the type of stuff you gotta think behind it too. Because you get that feature, so people will know like you're trying to build their fan base around your fan base too, just so they can peep you out as well. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what a feature is about.
It's supposed to help everybody involved.
That doesn't always happen. So I'm a little bit more choosy about features, especially I'm happy at where I'm at, where I collab with a lot of the people I've been wanting to collab with. And there's still some people I want to collab with that I'm still in talks with. So you might see some of them on my next couple of projects,
Okay, I'm going to keep my eye out for that. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to, you mentioned something about critique. You're working on something and there was critique and people talking about different things. How do you deal with, especially since hip hop is so based in comparison? They always want to compare one rapper to another rapper. Like that's like a whole thing. Like, who's in your top and who's better than this person. How do you deal with critique and then sussing out what's valuable critique versus what's just somebody talking?
Honestly, I felt some type of way about it, but now that I'm mentioning it with everybody, say I don't be tripping no more. Mm-hmm. Like I was always trying to be mentioned with more people like that. I'm still not getting mentioned with everybody, but when you see stuff like those type of platforms where you see my name up there with some people, and when people see me and congratulate me, they're just like, "Oh, congratulations, boy! You in there with some big hitters, though." And I was like, "Yep," and I'm one of them big hitters too. I got that too. You know what I'm saying? Like my name ain't in there for play, so it ain't in there for the play. So much respect to everybody in there.
Yeah, it's just was there anything? Any critiques or information that you received that you ended up using that was actually helpful?
Man, definitely want to say Studio E from Mid-Range Music. There was this time I was up there and I was recording some music up there. It was late at night. Actually, I was supposed to be shooting that scene you see me in that acting role. I was out in the studio till like 4, 5 in the morning that night before I got up there. Honestly, I ain't tell too many people about that. I try to keep it professional. But when I get challenged by someone like that, though, you know what I'm saying, who's well established and one of the best engineers in Kansas City in general, yeah, you're gonna get my time for stuff like that, So when it came to wanting to hear what I be rapping about, want to hear about my music IQ, when want to see who I be spitting about, because we in there with some ladies and all that stuff, say that boosts my confidence right then and there. So I wasn't tired at all. It's whatever, like let's keep spitting. My engineer was a little upset, frankly. He was like, "Oh my God, I knew this dude." I was like, "What? You don't believe in me?" And he's like, "It's not that." He told me later on, "It's not that. It's that I know you're not gonna back down from nothing or nobody." So I knew we were gonna be up here all night.
So as far as new music and stuff, you're currently in the studio. You're working on different things.
A couple of projects.
A couple of different projects. Are you looking at working on an album, or are you just still putting out singles?
Yeah, the album, it's basically done. I just gotta add some more songs that I feel like will really complete that mug, where it's just like, okay, the album's out, I can still put out singles off of the album. I can still put visuals around it. I can still market it after the album's out, because some people just drop it and they worry about that first week sales or streams and stuff like that, and they're not thinking about the longevity. Like I want make sure my stuff is carrying throughout the year, just like this, not this staying like this, then eventually what I'm saying, like, no, I want mine to be consistent when people listening to it and stuff. So that's why I've been dropping so many singles, just kind of get an idea what people are liking, works. What works. So I think putting visuals behind some of those songs on top of dropping more music will help. And I think a couple other projects I'm working on will help with that as well. Like I got a joint project I'm working with some of my peers on, some of my producers, where we just got a whole project with just me rapping over their beats, So okay. I got some stuff like that that's going to come out in 2026, definitely.
All right.
I'm trying to think what else I really got going on outside that. I mean, outside of that, just family business.
Yeah.
Business is business.
That's always going to be going on. That's always a thing.
Yeah. I want to continue to build on my publishing, continue to build my circle up too, to help promote one another and keep things like that going on. I definitely want to do another show. I want to do a listening party this year before it's over. A nice listening party. You already getting the invite.
Thank you.
You already
that.
you the first on that one. I want to make sure I drop a listening party thing. So what you listened to that I sent you already, I'll probably have more than that whenever that listening party comes together. You know?
Right, I'm with it.
Yeah.
Well, there's one more thing that we need you to do before you get up out of here, and that is to make your mark on the Wall of Fame.
Yes.
All right, so I'll have you do that. No. I'll have you do that while I make my clothes.
Okay.
All right, so why don't you go and get to it and make your mark?
Let's get it.
Many thanks again to my guest, Dose of T.H.A, for joining me today and sharing all his wise insights. You guys want to keep up with him, go ahead and check in the description box below for all the links that he gave. I thank you guys for watching. You're the best part of all of this, and I'll see you again soon for another close up. I'll be checking for you. Bye.
Peace out.